Hello and welcome to week 6 of Increasing Self-Esteem. My name is Paula and I'll be guiding you through the Increasing Self-Esteem CBT course. This course has been adapted from our Increasing Self-Esteem group run by Wellbeing services in the south of Glasgow. In today's session, we will be reviewing the unhelpful rules for living that we discussed in the earlier sessions and how to develop more helpful alternatives. We will review what has been covered over the 6 sessions, and we will develop a staying well plan to continue your progress after the course is ended. Rules for living. As a reminder, in the first few sessions we discussed rules for living, which have been developed over time to help you cope with not feeling very good about yourself. As long as we follow these rules, we tend to feel good about ourselves, but we sometimes meet situations in which it is not possible to follow the rule. And when it gets broken, our negative bottom line belief about ourselves is seemingly confirmed and reinforced. Examples of unhelpful rules for living might be, I must be the best at everything. This may be to overcompensate for how I feel about myself deep down. I must not upset others, or they might reject me, so I go along with everyone and never say how I really feel. If I ask for something I need, I will be put down, which might have the effect that you don't ask, and so your needs aren't met. This can lead to resentment towards other people for not asking how you are or what your needs are. I won't try anything unless I know that I can do it perfectly, because if I get it wrong, then it means I'm a failure. This may mean you end up feeling stuck because you don't try new things or move on with your life. I must do everything I can to please others, or else I won't be liked. Let's look at what makes these rules unhelpful. Rules for living are unhelpful if they are rigid with no shades of grey. For example, I must always, I should be, I need to. And also if they are dependent on things which are impossible to achieve or outwith of our control. For example, being attractive, rich, young, fit and healthy, having a partner, being loved by everyone. For example, if your job is the only way you feel good about yourself and something happens to disrupt that, like getting made redundant, your self-esteem will likely suffer. You leave yourself vulnerable if your self-esteem is all invested in only one aspect of yourself, or in something that is out of your control, such as being liked by everyone. Helpful rules for living. Helpful rules for living are more flexible and take account of changes in circumstances. For example, pleasing some of the people some of the time. Using statements such as, I prefer to, or it's okay to. They take a more overall and balanced view of your skills, attributes, and capabilities, and reflect a more flexible and realistic worldview. Some examples of helpful rules for living are, I like to do the best I can and do things right, but it's okay to make mistakes. I'm only human, rather than the rule, I must do everything perfectly. I prefer it if people like me, but at times other people may not. That does not mean I'm a bad person. It's impossible to please everyone, rather than the rule, I must be liked by everyone or it means that I'm a bad person. Breaking the vicious cycle. In session 1, we looked at the vicious cycle of low self-esteem, and hopefully over the 6 weeks of the course we have learned how to break this vicious cycle with various exercises and strategies. Let's summarize each section of the vicious cycle and how to break the patterns. The vicious cycle begins with trigger situations. These are situations in which the rules for living might be broken and confirm our negative bottom line belief. It's important to be aware of what these trigger situations are, what rules are being applied, and to notice unhelpful thoughts and behaviours. We can then challenge unhelpful thoughts by recognising any unhelpful thinking patterns and using challenging questions to come up with a more balanced way of looking at the situation. Maybe the trigger situation breaks a rule for living, and perhaps we can then recognize this and try out new, more flexible rules for living. We can then change unhelpful behaviors by being more assertive, taking on challenges and resisting the urge to avoid and withdraw from people and activities. Facing up to difficult situations and doing more activities that give a sense of enjoyment and achievement will build our confidence and hopefully lead to a more balanced view of ourselves. Recognizing our positive qualities and achievements and continuing to build on them rather than brushing off compliments and discounting positives allows us to build up our self-esteem. Maintaining healthy self-esteem. It's important to keep practicing the things that you've learned after this course is over. Keep trying to challenge negative and self-critical thoughts using the techniques discussed. Notice your positive qualities. Continue to practice your assertiveness skills. Build your confidence by spending time doing the things that you enjoy and facing up to the things that you've been avoiding. Staying well plan. Making a staying well plan allows us to think about how to take things forward after the course is finished. It can be helpful to write down the following into a journal and to think about each area. Dealing with setbacks. Setbacks can happen. So how can I prevent myself from thinking I'm back at square one? What can I do about it? Think about what type of thing would set you back. For example, work stress, and how you would cope with it. For example, relaxation exercises, communicating to your manager in an assertive way. Identify early warning signs. What would tell you that things were not going as well? This could be in the form of negative thoughts, behaviors, or feelings. For example, being overly self-critical, making anxious predictions, withdrawing from others, doing less. Take the time to ask yourself, if I notice these things, what will I do? Practice new skills. Ask yourself, what have I found most helpful? And what do I need to keep doing? Was there a strategy that really made a difference for me? Such as challenging thoughts, making an activity diary, or practicing assertiveness skills. Support. Who can I speak to if I need a bit of extra help? This could be informal, like friends and family, or formal support, such as your GP. We have now come to the end of the Increasing Self-Esteem course. Thank you for taking part and well done for completing each session. Feel free to go back over sessions if necessary and remember to continue to keep practicing the techniques. We hope you've enjoyed this course. You can learn more about what Wellbeing services offer by exploring the website and browsing the other courses available online, or by downloading the self-help booklets or audio resources.